Hi everyone. Thank you for joining me on the Promethean, the armed heart that has become the Promethean. And so, what I would like to share with you is something that's related to the last few days or few weeks that we've gone through in terms of our heart and what our heart is in relation to the movements that we're experiencing right now. These experiences that we're having right now, I know, are related to bleed throughs of time, and that is related to Saturn. And Saturn is the timekeeper or Kronos, as I've mentioned before. So, this is the Titans reevaluated. And for those who are unaware of the information on the Titans, the link of that video will be on the channel here underneath this video. So basically, what I would like to give is a short bit of information, a burst of information that is quite relevant, and we have to, in order for us to understand where we are right now, we have to take note that our hearts are, well, let me put it this way: we consist out of electromagnetic energy. For those who are unaware of what that means, please go through the videos on this channel, and you'll understand that we are electromagnetic frequency, which means we have the masculine and the feminine poles of energy within ourselves. And this electromagnetic frequency, where magnetism is feminine and electricity is masculine, converge inside the heart. And in order for us to understand the process that we're going through right now, we have to take note that we are also experiencing heavenly body movements, which, in other words, I'm referring to the planets as we speak, Saturn and Jupiter. Now, I'm not going to give you an astrology lesson. This is not about astrology, but it's about what we're experiencing. So we have to naturally research or look at what is around us, look at what is within us, and why we are experiencing certain bleed throughs. Now, when I call it bleed throughs, I'm referring to us going into particular timelines, or we are shifting in dimensionally, intra-dimensional, which means in our locations or physical biological locations that we're in, such as, for example, this office that I'm in right now, or when you're converging within yourself, that you're shifting into another person's universe or uh, their location. So when you communicate with each other, like we're communicating with each other, we are converging as well. So convergence is not only just some kind of force that's going to come in, which we are determining that force. I am referring to universes colliding or communicating or converging within one another, creating a net or a structure of support. So, in other words, I've now thrown quite a lot of information out there, but I'm going to explain to you what each of these mean, and perhaps you'll follow the breadcrumbs along with me. So, when I refer to us as electromagnetic beings, I am referring to the brain and the heart in the biological sense of the word. I am also referring to the masculine and the feminine polarities within us, the 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 frequency points in which you radiate or operate or oscillate in when you're communicating with this reality, the interface. And then I am also referring to the fact that we are the timekeepers that are keeping the time and bringing a time in. So this all ties into the call to creation videos that I've made. For those who are not familiar with that, please, I suggest go to the beginning of the Call to Creations videos as they start, where I explain to you who we are as Great Spirit. Many bodies, many points of light, individual consciousness in one body. Okay. Because that is one thing that we need to understand very clearly is when I explain individual consciousness, it means that I respect your individual experience, who you are. You are individual to your soul journey. You are unique. You are whole. When we refer to what they're now broadcasting is we must all become one hive for the service to others. So in other words, what I'm trying to explain with regards to service to self, service to others, and for the greater good. For the greater good means to sacrifice individual right to exist. So, in other words, at the cost of oneself for others. That is what I'm trying to explain in terms of service to others, service for others. If you do service, if you do service to others or for others, but for the greater good, you negate, you break down your individual conscious existence. It's basically saying this finger must lose, all these fingers have to be chopped off so that this finger can be free from pain. That is what I'm trying to explain. So we must understand very carefully what individual conscious existence as an organic existence is, a sovereign soul, which includes service to self, service to others, and then service to others or service to self for the greater good. I hope this makes more sense than from what I'm trying to explain. We must be mindful to which one of these fields in the spectrum we shed our light to, we point our light to, our light of understanding, our light of consciousness, our light of creation. We must be mindful to what light, in what way do we send our light out to which one of these frequencies. It's very important that we understand how they trying to trap us into shutting ourselves off. So one once one operates into the service to self or service to others for the greater good, it means that I shut my heart energy off and I allow another to take control of my consciousness. That is what they're trying to trick us into creating. And this is why I'm saying, this is why I'm bringing up the aspect about the magnetic heart. We must be mindful in what way do we lend our energy to any one of those. Everything. And so we must be very careful when we give our attention to information such as that, because it tends to want to generate a flux of magnetic energy, electromagnetic energy, so that it stimulates you to want to go and do the service at the cost of yourself. Not saying that it's wrong. I'm not negating that at all. It's good that we can help one another, but we must never do something like that at the cost of ourselves. So this particular body of work that we're discussing has got a lot of information in it. So there's a lot of things that I'm jumping around, and I'm hoping that you would put the video back a few times, jump around with me so that it follows in the same, so that you can understand where I am with what I'm sharing with you. Okay, so I interrupted myself when I was busy explaining to you that we are the timekeepers to this reality. The reason I'm saying that we are the timekeepers to this reality is because we are setting the time for ourselves to exist in. In other words, we create the reality that we are living in, that we would like to live in. So When we take away our attention and we bring it towards ourselves, we break the magnetic force that those wish for us to have when they give us things to think about. And when I'm talking about the they and the those and them, I think by now we all know who I'm referring to. But if you're new to the channel, please ask, and I'm sure we will all be able to give you the explanation of who they are. I just call them them. I'm not even giving them a name anymore. I don't give them a title anymore. I basically do not give them any force, any form of my information or of my knowledge or my light. I do not give any information to them that they are. It's not that I'm denying their existence, it's the fact that I don't want them to feed off of my light, my creative power, your creative power. We do not give our creative power to their existence anymore. Remember when I said that we are the Prometheans? We never stole the fire, we only claimed it back. So we are claiming our fire back. We have always been in control of our fire. We have always had the light. We were led to believe that we never had it. So when the words are used, those words can also trigger the magnetic frequency within ourselves, particularly now, particularly in this whole conjunction astrological movements that we're going into. Remember, Saturn is a timekeeper. It's a time element. It is Chronos, irrespective of what it represents on an esoteric level, and whether it's Saturnalia and it's whether it's that or whether it's this. I'm not speaking about that information. I'm bringing that element in for its relevance only. And then we have Jupiter, which is a force that is trying to instate, in a sense, on a deeper level. Let's put it this way, on a Promethean level, we know that Saturn sets the time and Jupiter makes it happen. That's how I'm going to explain it to you. So we want to bring in a new reality, the one that we would like to be comfortable in, that we would like to live in a more peaceful time. For those who require to work on not being, uh, well, let me put it this way, for those who are working to would like to be challenged, you create a different reality than I create. For us who are living in this country, in South Africa, which of course has got no information to the world that we even exist, except for the past transgressions, which is media driven, we are busy creating realities, multiple realities. And so I'm sharing that with you because I can see it starting to work here. I'm saying it because because I can feel it. I'm saying it because we're creating realities where we are, and I can see the multiple realities. Many of these realities are bleeding into each other or overlapping one another. And so then there's convergence taking place, and then there's a communication taking place, and then there are smaller groups that are working on understanding it and then transmuting. And so it happens because we are aware that the entire scripture that's been written for this particular time period has already been written back then. And so that's all they've got, old news. And so they keep revamping the old news because they don't know how to create. They've forfeited their ability to create, their awareness of life, their care of the living, the psychotic ones that are the walking dead, as per the last video that I've explained about the cult psychosis, which seems to be quite strong. So I'm leaving these thoughts with you. If there are any other things that come to you, come to your mind. You know where I am. My website is on the in about section on this channel. My email address is also in there. And if you would like to get hold of me, go through my website, please. I welcome you to do that. And if so, let's be mindful of how we create our time because we are the timekeepers and some of us are time travelers. I'd like to be the timekeeper rather than the traveler because the traveler never really has any stable foundation. Perhaps we were once upon a time travelers, and now we've become accustomed to what we would like to create for ourselves. So, this period that we're going into, this is chapter one. 2020 is chapter one of understanding time, how we operate with time, understanding who we are as a recap, and our potential, irrespective of whether what story has been written for us to work through. Chapter 2, which is the next year, 2022, is the second chapter, and then the one after that is the third chapter. The second chapter will reveal to us how we will now implement our reality. So for now, we are experiencing and experimenting with creating reality. Second chapter will show us how to implement that reality, and we'll probably have to do it really quickly. And in the third chapter, we will see how our realities that we've created will be of a benefit to us, and some who have created malevolent realities, we sow what we reap. Because as long as Jupiter is in the sky, that element about sow, what you sow is what you reap, is relevant. And then from there on, we will then see how far we go with life. So I know I've given you quite a lot of all kinds of bits together, but I thought I'd like to share with you where I am right now and where I am with you. And again, thank you so much for those who have commented on the armed heart transition to the Promethean transition. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We are the Prometheans. Much love. Bye.